firstly, just how's this week been in training and how's everything looking going into Saturday?
It's been good. The weather has caught us out today, unfortunately. So we have had to train at the stadium, which isn't ideal, obviously, with some of the players that we've got in terms of that surface for them. But the week has been nice because we've had a full week on the grass with the players. So from that perspective, it's been really good. We've got some good work in ahead of what will be a difficult game at home on Saturday. It's also given us a chance to reset as well, which I think is important, especially coming off the two results that we had middle of last week and last weekend. So the players are ready. As the group at the moment, we can name 9 subs. I'm not quite sure whether we'll get to that. We've still got injuries, which is disappointing. Kieran Phillips, unfortunately, is going to be out for 3 months, which is obviously a real blow for us. He's had an exploratory procedure into his knee. And speaking to him yesterday, he sat at home in bed on a machine that's moving his knee. So, yeah, it's not the news that we wanted. It leaves us slightly bare now at the top of the pitch, but that's nothing new for us. However, we know the one thing that we haven't done well enough this year is score goals. So it's going to be difficult. We also have an international break coming up soon as well, where by all accounts we're going to lose Max Mata. So it's not great, but what we will do, and what I think the caveat and the flip side of that is that Jordan Shipley will be back in the squad. Elliot Thorpe will be back in the squad. So that's, albeit we lose Kieran, what we do is we gain 2 players that one of them the fans haven't seen in Elliot. So it'll be important for him that when he does get his opportunity, he shows them what he can do. And obviously Jordan Shipley, everyone knows what he can do, and we're really pleased to have him back in and around the group.
With Kieran, what is the injury, and will he be going back to his parent club for all the treatment and stuff? So
he's currently back at Huddersfield. So he's back at his house, having spoken to him yesterday. So obviously not ideal for us. He had an exploratory procedure into his knee that we didn't foresee coming. It has done, so it's put us back a bit, obviously, because Kieran was just getting to a point where he was getting a run in the team. And look, these things happen. We have to accept that in football there will always be injuries. The thing that I think is difficult for us is that the injuries that we've had haven't been avoidable. And what I mean by that is it's not through load that they've had an injury. It's mainly been contact. Ryan Finnegan won't be back with us until January. Now, Ryan was a player and is a player that I feel will affect our team. He's a player in the middle of the pitch that was just starting to get to grips with what we wanted. We obviously lost George Nurse for the season. Unfortunately, it will be too soon for Morgan Feeney to be back involved with the group. But I've always said that the players that are fit, I'm comfortable with them as a group. Are we looking at maybe changing 1 or 2 things in the way that we play? Yes. What they are, I won't give them away just yet. So yeah, we're in a position where obviously we've got too many injuries than we would want, and Kieran one is a difficult one because I feel that he could have been a real asset to us at the top of the pitch.
Does that leave potentially the option, you have got 2 strikers out on loan at the minute, does that leave an option for one of them to maybe come back?
Both of them, as far as I'm aware, won't be able to come back into this building until January. They're a conversation, we had a recruitment meeting on Monday, and it's a conversation that we had as a group of staff. So yeah, we'll monitor that, but I think the most important thing is focusing on the players that are in the building and those that are fit and available. And looking at them this week, they're ready and raring to go, and really excited for the first round of, in my opinion, the best cup competition in the world.
We'll talk about that now in the FA Cup, obviously this weekend. Just tell me your best memory of the competition for yourself.
It wasn't getting beat 5-0 at Wembley in a semi-final. I can be honest there. That was a difficult day for me. Getting beat 5-0 by Stoke City whilst playing for Bolton. But I think my best memory of the FA Cup actually comes from the FA Youth Cup. It was my first game as a 17-year-old or 16-year-old away at Molineux for Luton Town many moons ago. But the FA Cup is special. The history that it has, the fact that you will always get throughout any year, you'll get some upsets. And look, we know that being at home probably gives us a slight advantage. So we want to make sure that we're in the best position that we can be to be in the hat for the next round. I mean, it's a fantastic cup. I remember watching it as a child. I remember being a big Tottenham fan and watching Spurs in the FA Cup final. So look, it's a competition that's close to my heart. It's a competition we want to do well in, but we're also really respectful of Colchester, and they've had, you know, an upturn in results recently. So we know it's going to be a difficult game, and Matt has got his team playing well. It'd be nice to see him, but at the same time, I feel that, you know, the onus has to be on us to take the game to Colchester and to be the best version of ourselves that we can be on the day.
An opportunity as well for some much needed, you know, confidence for the fans and for the team as well, if you can get through to the second round. And obviously the money as well is always talked about in the FA Cup and how much that helps as well.
Yeah, well, you see here with the recent history, the game that the club had at Anfield and then the replay after that. So look, is it an opportunity to take your focus off of the league ever so slightly? It is, because it's a different competition. But the one thing I do know is 3 days after that, we're back at home against Bolton. So look, we know that at home we are a good team. If you look at our recent performances and results, that would suggest that. So we've got to continue doing that. We've got to continue believing in what we're doing. And if we do that, I have no doubt that we have a great chance of getting into the next round.
You spoke a little bit on Saturday about being happy with what you were doing in possession. How do you just turn that possession into those much needed goals?
Look, I've spoken about this before, and I don't believe, and I know there isn't a magic wand. A lot of it comes down to confidence. How do you build confidence? You try and place players under stress during training that will recreate those moments that they'll get in games. We've done that. We've done a lot of front of the pitch work to put the players in positions where they're going to be on Saturdays and on Tuesdays. And then ultimately it's down to the players and the decisions they make. Can we make better decisions in front of goal? Yes. Can we be more ruthless? Yes. But it is always a process. The one thing that I would allude to is that now we've lost Kieran, it leaves us with slightly light in terms of the attacking areas. But one thing I will say is that all three of those players are desperate to succeed for the football club.
A question maybe just to me, to explain to me how it works, that, you know, in training, I suppose it's very different to a game situation where in a game you've got people around you. It's never going to be the perfect chance to take. How do you recreate that situation in training?
Well, when I talk about recreating situations, the one thing you can't replicate is real pressure, and having fans and having that expectation. It's very difficult to do that. I remember speaking to a police force about it, and how do you train decision making under pressure? Because ultimately that's what it is, that's what we're after. I think it's very, very difficult. But look, we do the best that we can. And ultimately, the players that have the opportunities, it's about putting the players in those situations in a training environment so that they feel comfortable. You know, look at why do people practice penalties? Why do people practice free kicks? It's to hone the technique. So what we've been doing is putting our players in areas where we feel their technique can be better. We did it today, did it Tuesday, we'll do it again tomorrow. It's continually adding layers so that you give the players the best chance, so that when they get those chances they can perform.
Just finally from me, Brandon Fleming, how is he doing? I know you spoke on Saturday about his injury. Is he closer to potentially being back?
He's closer. Is he close enough? I don't know as of yet. We're not too sure. I've got a meeting, and I'm not being evasive, but we've got a meeting after this to have a real conversation about that. But as I said to you, look, we've got Mal Benning who can play in that position. Jordan Shipley is nearing full fitness. Whether he's ready for Saturday yet, we don't know. But Mal and Jordan give us good options if Brandon isn't available. And as I say, I can't give you a definitive answer as to whether he's available at the moment, because, as I say, the weather's caught us out today, and it's been a slightly disjointed, longer day than we would normally have on a Thursday, because we thought the pitch would be playable, but it wasn't. So as and when I know that, it'll probably be before the game on Saturday. You'll find out before the team sheet goes in.